Hi everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. And I just realized I left my glasses on the other table, so when I flip down, I'm going to run and get them. But wanted to share with you what is going on this week. I have a card class on Thursday night. It is the Oh Holy Night suite that I'm featuring, and I'm going to show you some of the cards. And there's actually a little bit of overlap because that's been my Genie in a Box this month as well. If you aren't subscribed to that, you will want to subscribe to that next month. I will determine the contents of that by the first of the month. But just to let you know, this month, it was the Oh Holy Night suite. Participants are getting half a pack of the Oh Holy Night paper, which is sold out. Half a pack of the Shining Brightly paper, which is sold out. They're getting a pack of the star trinkets, and they're getting a roll of the navy and gold glittered ribbon, as well as 9 projects. Going to do 3 cards, 2 of each, and then there's 3 more cards that you're going to be doing as well. So that's 9 projects for that. But if you're coming to my card class, you will be making 4 cards on Thursday night. I have 1 Genie in a Box left. So if anybody wants it, just speak up or forever hold your peace. It's $45. Like I said, the paper is already sold out, so that's the only way you can get this. But anyway, leave me a comment. Speaking of comments, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to see where you're from, what you're watching, what you're working on. Are you working on Christmas or have you moved on already? I'd love to know. And what's the weather like? Let me know. Share the love. Like my video, share it, leave comments so that I can comment back, because once I flip down, I don't see the comments. So I hope that you're going to join me soon. I love that I get to do this every week. So let's flip up, and I'm going to show you the cards that we are going to be doing. I'm going to make almost all of the cards or show you how I did it on this. They're pretty self-explanatory. So here, let me flip up just like that. And hopefully I'm going to be more in the picture this time. Let's see. I think we'll do it like that. And hopefully you can see everything, including my host code, so that you can get this card class in your email box or in your mailbox. Okay, I've got my glasses and I'm ready to go. Wait until I show you what I have. Okay, so this is the first card. Let's show you this one first. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to make it in just a second. This is the back of one of the designer papers. I love the Night Divine dies. There's a camel, a sheep, a donkey, I don't know if they're bales of hay or if they're clouds. I haven't used that part yet, but this is my first card. So the navy and gold glittered ribbon with a joy and peace. That's my first card. Inside, a fitting sentiment from Brightest Glow. That's my first card. I'll show you that in a second. This is my second card, and I'm going to show you how to do this too. Now, for all of those doubters about wild wheat, look, this wild wheat is a great gold color. I have the More Dazzle designer paper here, or specialty paper, I should say. It's like a sandpaper glittered paper. This is gold, and there's also a champagne color. It matches the wild wheat really well, and I stamped and I did a little trinket here. Show you that in a second. My third card. This is my third card. It's a specialty card. It's a fancy fold, just like that. Really pretty. This uses the Shining Brightly paper, a little strip of the Oh Holy Night paper, and then inside, I thought it was too plain, so I decided to do stars all around. And again, Wishing You a Season of Hope and Light is from Brightest Glow. It's great sentiments to match this as well. I feel like the Night Divine sentiments are perfect front sentiments, but the other ones, the Brightest Glow is great for the inside to match that. So that's card number 3. And card number 4, and these are all cards that we're making Thursday night, is a shaker card. I have these 3x4 bags, which close in the back. I added some of our sequins. I'll show you that in a second, because where is that? What are the sequins? These are the sequins, and it is the loose silver sequins. I added that to the bag after I stamped. And if you see all the stars on here, the stars are actually the specialty paper. This is part of the Shining Brightly paper, and I really like how it did that. It looks almost extra sparkly because of the gold stars that are on the paper. I don't think I put anything inside. Oh, yes, I did. Hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. Again, brightest glow. Show you how I made that in just a second. This is my 5th card. This card I would have loved to have done for card class, but there's only so many pieces. There's only 3 panels that will fit on every card. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 of the panel. And if I used it for every single piece, we'd run out. So I'm just showing you that these are the die cuts. I actually, look at this die cut right here. This one here, the shepherd, is the same as this one, and I just trimmed it off right there. So that's that. Really easy card, brightest glow, and the lights aglow dies as well. And my 6th card, and I'm going to show you how I made this, is a box fold card. This is what it looks like from the top. It stands up by itself just like that. I die cut all of the pieces from the distressed gold paper and then added them with designer paper panels to the side. This camel overlays, or overlaps I should say, but if I close it like this, it's not going to fit in the envelope. But look, if I close it like this, it's a perfect fit. So there you go. This folds flat for mailing. I have several of the star trinkets here though that I've added. And of course this die, the part of the die is this wood grain look that you can see. I did this out of pecan pie. I was going to say copper, but this is definitely pecan pie. Okay, so let's get to making these cards and I'll show you how to make them. The first one, actually, like I said, this is pretty self-explanatory. I better stand up so I can see if I'm in the picture. Last week I was not in the picture for everything. I cut this out of Pebbled Path. I had to cheat and look at my ink pad because I couldn't remember. This is out of Pebbled Path. I couldn't decide if this was Pebbled Path designer paper color or not, but this is the back of the stars. So this is the back of one of the cards that we'll be making. I'll show you a panel of that in just a second, but this is so easy. What I did was I have my, let's measure this for you. It is 4 by 3 1/4 inches, this designer paper, attached to my Very Vanilla. This is regular Very Vanilla. If it was the base, I would be using the Vanilla Thick, but this is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And it is on a piece. Actually, you know what? This is not 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. I decided that 3 3/16 was a tiny bit of a better measurement. It just looked a little bit more professional. So wait until you hear this measurement. It's 3 3/4 plus a smidge by 5 plus a smidge. And that smidge is actually a 1/16 of an inch. That's the first line on your ruler that you see. So that makes it 3/16 less than my 4 by 5 1/4 panel of Pebbled Path, which is right there, fits perfectly. I'm attaching this on top. Actually, before I did that, I wrapped the ribbon around. This is the navy and gold glittered ribbon. I wrapped that around the vanilla once I stamped Joy and Peace at the bottom. And this is such a self-explanatory card that I'm not going to make it right now. And then of course it's on the 5.5 by 8.5 inch base. So you're stamping Joy and Peace, which is one of the sentiments from Night Divine. You're die cutting this, which is one die. It's really simple to pop out too. Just like that, I put it there. And then I added a star trinket. So let me set that aside because we're going to run out of time if I show you the simple cards. So we'll leave that alone. So that's one of the cards you'll make Thursday night, and you'll make 2 cards of that in the Genie in a Box. Here is my second card. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do the gold one next. I just showed you this card. I love this card. This is vanilla, thick cardstock, and I embossed a layer of the regular vanilla with the Stars at Night hybrid embossing folder. Now, if you don't have the Oh Holy Night paper or the Shining Brightly paper, it's going to be hard to make this. But if you place a $35 order, you will get these 4 cards in the mail, the kit to make them. You can use your own sentiments if you don't have the stamps. But these are all retiring, and I'm really sad that the stars are retiring and these die cuts are all retiring. That makes me sad. But anyway, you've got this More Dazzle glimmer paper, and I have a panel of this Shining Brightly paper. There's 3 different vanilla packet patterns in here in the Shining Brightly paper. And when I was doing it, this one, I did one with the medallions. There's one with leaves, and that's this one. And that's what we're going to do because I accidentally cut the wrong one. This, I believe, is 3 inches. Yep, it's 3 inches by 5.5 inches. It goes the full length of the card. So let me show you first. This is such a simple card to make. First, oh, I didn't do that right because I must have picked up the wrong piece. What we are going to do is emboss the entire layer. I have the whole 4 1/4 by 5.5 embossed, except in this one. So let me see if my other one is sitting there. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. I grabbed the wrong one. I wonder if I got rid of the other one. So this is 4 1/4 by 5.5, and this is the Stars embossing folder. The dies of Stars at Night will also cut out these individual stars, which is really, really cool. I didn't try that for any of these cards. All I did was emboss it. So what I'm going to do first, I ran this through the 3D embossing folder, and then I have my 3 inch by 5.5 inch piece of the specialty designer paper. This specialty designer paper is the Shining Brightly. I'm going to attach that right here to the edge. I hope you guys are enjoying your day today. Let me know if you're watching it for real or on replay. I'd love to know. You know, I probably wanted it to go like this, and I just covered up the star. So make sure you decide which part you want covered up, because it does cover up a good part of the embossing folder. Okay, it's too late because I've already added my glue there. I'm going to do a really good job of adhering it because there are a lot of little extra, as one of my patients would say, nooks and crannies when you use an embossing folder. Okay, I have a 1/2 inch strip of the More Dazzle gold glimmer paper. And like I said, there's a champagne as well as the gold. I'm going to do it just like that. We're just going to attach this over the seam. And I'm really doing it more over the designer paper because I really have already covered up a good part of this embossing folder. So this is the same size as my card front. And I don't usually like to do that, but oh, and look at this. This glimmer paper, the Dazzle paper, is really, really thick. So it did a number on my paper cutter, but I think we're okay. Okay, so I'm going to attach this to the card front just like that. And then we're going to stamp our next layer, which is really easy. Isn't that so cool? On the back, you can even use the back for your pattern paper or whatever. So you don't have to have designer paper. Sometimes the embossing folders do just lovely. And what you could do is use a brayer, and that's going to be coming out in our next mini catalog. There is a brayer included as one of the products you can purchase in January, unless you are a demonstrator, which means December 5th, I believe we can start pre-ordering some of this stuff. If I ran this to the front of the embossing folder, the part of the embossing folder that has the logo, I could brayer or just use my ink pad and just kind of do it all over that. And it would either negatively emboss, or it would be maybe just the gold part would show up. It's hard to say. I think it would be just the gold part that it would show around the stars and pop them up. Okay, I've got my wild wheat here. My wild wheat cardstock is, like I said, a great substitute for gold. This is 3 1/4 inches square, and I have a 3-inch square piece of very vanilla cardstock. And I'm just going to stamp that with my, you know what? I want some scrap paper so I don't make a mess. And I have my pad here too, because the star is actually a photopolymer stamp. So let's just stamp that there. I have my star that I'm going to ink up right here. When I ink up, when I say tap the ink pad or tap the stamp, this doesn't do a whole lot. You have to actually just tap the stamp. Don't smush it into your ink pad. You just tap it there. And you look and you see that you've got ink over everything and it looks pretty even. And then you're going to stamp this. And I have to stamp off in order to fit my sentiment. So I'm stamping it out of the lines, so to speak. There we go. That'll dry looking a little bit golder. Let me stamp yet my sentiment. And this is from the Night Divine dies. And the stamp says, "The stars are brightly shining." So I'm going to make sure, I'm going to look at the stamp and make sure it's the right direction. And again, I'm tapping it. And I'm going to stamp it close to the bottom. There might be a little overlap. And I've trusted my stamp because I put it on the block straight. I leave it in contact with the very vanilla paper for just like 3 seconds. Pick it up and voila, there we go. There's still some open space there though. So I stamped one more thing. There's another set of stars. It's just a bunch of, they almost look like snowflakes, but they are obviously stars because it's the same kind of medallion-like star here. And what I'm going to do is just, maybe I'll do it like this. I'll just stamp it just like that. And that looks a little weird. I should have stamped it more up and down because my stars are sideways now. But there you go. So that's my wild wheat ink pad. I'm going to close it up so I don't get my fingers in it or get it all over my paper. Let's put my stamps off to the side. And let's just attach this to my wild wheat 3 1/4 inch base. So like I said, this cardstock is 3 inches by 3 inches. And I think I'm not a fan of wild wheat per se, but when you put it with this designer paper, it accents it nicely. It's beautiful, I think. I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. So I've got my regular size dimensionals, and I will put one in every corner. And then I'll probably put like 2 in the center. You don't need to cover it, but you don't want your design image, your stamped image, to cave in on itself either. I mean, don't be stingy, but you don't have to put 30 dimensionals on here either. I'll do it just like that. And voila, let's put this off to the side. I'm going to attach this just like that. Beautiful. And then I have my star trinkets, which, like I said, if you are getting the Genie in a box, you're getting a whole package of that. I think I have enough that if somebody places over a $50 order, I can probably include one of these, but it's only while supplies last, I have to say, because eventually I'm going to run out. So let's just put that right there, right in the center. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. What I could have done as well instead of stamping this in the wild wheat, but that's not as easy. What I could have done is emboss this with the gold, with Versamark and the gold embossing powder. But that's just a little bit more difficult. And we want to keep this card simple. The paper already, and the more dazzle paper does a great job showing this off. So that's card number 2. Let me show you card number 3. And this, like I said, is a fancy fold card. This is this card right here. Let me make sure I'm in my thing. Yep, looks good. I have my 4 by 5 1/4 inch base. It's not a full card. It could be a full card, I suppose, but it's not. This is just the one single panel of 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I have a very vanilla layer. And the very vanilla layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And if you wonder why I went to town with the blue, it's actually because yes, it did look a little blank when I closed this. It looked a little plain, but that's not really why I did it. I actually smeared here and I said, oh, I've got to cover that up a little bit. And I just stamped. And then one didn't look good because there was an open spot here, and then there were open spots here, and I went to town. But simple card to do nevertheless. So let me show you how I made this. So like I said, we have our 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch back to our thing. Let me put this over here and hopefully not make a mess. One single panel, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I'm gonna put that there. Then I have my 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of very vanilla paper. Next, I need a panel, and this is my lifting panel. This part actually is going to tuck behind the very vanilla. So I have my 5 1/2 inch long by, I believe it's 3 inches wide. Yes, it is. 3 inches wide by 5 1/2 inches. And I scored this at 1 1/8. I was going to 1 3/8. I'm sorry, 1 3/8. And I'll tell you why I did that. If you had a shorter tab here, you just have to measure. But by the time I fold my fold here and it wraps around the card, it kind of picks up and it's long. It's not long enough to cover the card if it's close to 1 inch. You need to have that extra 1/8 inch. And it's a little bit off, but you know what? You can trim that, or it's not even going to matter because it's going to show up. It's going to be on your Night of Navy card base, so it won't even show. But if you don't like that it overhangs, go ahead and trim it. Turn it over and trim it. Don't do this until you've attached your piece, though, because it will make a difference. So what I'm going to do, I'm leaving this here. I'm going to add my adhesive to this fold, which I've tucked behind, just like that. I'm going to fold it over, and it's about 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, about 3/4 to 1/2 inch, a little bit. Yeah, about 3/4 of an inch on this side. And see, I'm attaching that. And then I'm going to attach this whole very vanilla part to the base. Just like that. So there we go. We'll do our stamping in just a second. Like I said, you can always trim this later if you don't like how it overhangs. It actually does a pretty decent job overhanging with the bottom of my card on this one, which is not what I intended to do, but I just wanted to make sure it covered my vanilla. I have here a 2 7/8 by 3 7/8 inch piece of the Shining Brightly paper. You can use any of them. One of them has stars on it. One of them has the medallions, or the star medallions like this, and one of them has the leaves, just like we did on our gold card here. It comes in the blue with gold as well. So that's that pattern. Okay, yes, 3 7/8 by 2 7/8. And I'm just going to attach that to the front, just like that. Just like that. And if you need it to be even, make sure it's mostly even with the top, because like I said, you can always undo the, okay. Hang on a second. It's sticking before I want it to, because I'm not quite even on the left. There we go. Just like that. Ta-da. I'll add a little bit more glue since I picked that corner up. I think, I'm not even sure I had enough glue under there. Okay, so that's that. Now we need to do our cross panel. And this is a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. This is 4 inches by 2.5 inches. And then my piece of Very Vanilla that is going to border on that is 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. So let's see. Yep. Pretty close to 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. So looks like it could be a little bit shorter on that side. Maybe I won't attach it. Maybe I'll take my paper trimmer and make it the 2 3/8 inch that I'm telling you it is, because it does look a little bit bigger. I'll take a tiny bit more off. Let's do that. Perfect. Just like that will hopefully work. I was stuck to me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stamp this, and this one was stamped with Glory to God in the Highest. I'm not going to attach the navy panel to the back of my card yet because I'm going to tie my ribbon too. So Glory to God in the Highest is stamped in Night of Navy ink. Wouldn't it be cool if we had like angel charms or something to stamp in the corner? Or, you know, we have the star trinkets, but little angel charms would be really cute too. So once again, looking at my stamp, I can see that Glory is at the top. I love these fonts because it's both a classic font and then a little scripty font besides. I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to stamp this to the side, just like that. I put it on my block, hopefully straight, so hopefully it's going to stamp straight, just like that. Beautiful. And then let me just tell you, I don't know if I'm going to stamp the stars this time or not, because if I put this on right, it'll be okay, and it won't be that. We'll see. I might open that up and stamp that. But what I am going to do before I attach this, I'm going to attach this little 1/2 inch strip of designer paper to the left edge. You don't have to do this. Your ribbon can totally cover up. I had a 1/2 inch strip left from one of my card projects, and so this is also 2 3/8 inch high by just a 1/2 inch, like I said. Attaching that there. And then let me use my ribbon here. And we're going to stamp this, or tie this into either a knot or a bow. I might try tying this one into a bow if I can. Let's see. I love this taffeta ribbon. It's easy to tie, but it's not so easy to tie with the glitter pieces because they are coming loose everywhere. So let's see. Is that going to be enough? I might end up doing this as a knot instead of as a bow because it might not have enough length here. Of course, it's attached at the other side, so I could just... You know what? We're going to make it a knot. Let's just make it a knot. See how I've already lost all that glitter? Oh, and I've already smeared my navy too because it wasn't quite dry. So just make sure it's dry before you do that. Here, we're going to stamp it on the other side real quick because I can. It won't have the 1/2 inch strip of designer paper right now, but I can do that. I can add that later. So let's do this again. We'll stamp it like this. Hopefully it's straight, not bad. And I'm going to be very careful not to smear my ink this time because it is pretty wet. You know what I'm going to do is use my paper. Yep, it should be pretty much absorbed now. Now I will attach it to my blue here, my Night of Navy panel, which, like I said, was 2 1/2 by 4 inches, I believe. I'm going to attach that there. Like I said, I'm still going to attach my piece of designer paper, but I'll do that later. Let's tie my ribbon around like I was just talking about doing. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot this time so I don't make anything complicated or messy. I guess I haven't really tried tying this into a bow. It is pretty stiff because of the glitter on it, but still, there are velvet ribbons that I can't tie at all, and this one would be doable if I worked at it. So trim that off. I'm going to leave all the little glitter pieces there. And what I'm going to do is just attach it right here. And what I'm going to do is center it top, bottom, left, and right. So if it, you know what, that actually comes out kind of perfect, attaching it to the left edge there of my flap. So let's do that. I'm only going to add adhesive to about half of this because the rest is going to overhang, and you won't be able to open your card if you do that. So let's just do it like this, and voila, we are attached. And there's your card. Now, what else did I put inside? Wishing you a season of hope and light. I don't have any of those stamps handy because I put them all in a box to get ready for card class, but it is easy enough to do. So that's card number 2. I like it a little bit better with this piece, this strip of designer paper, which I will add later. Okay, let's go on to, that's card number 3. We're going to go on to card number 4, which is a shaker card. And this is a really easy card to make. I have my 5.5 by 8.5 inch base, which is scored at 4 1/4. I have my 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer of designer paper. And you know what else I was noticing? If you don't have this designer paper, you could also use the planet, the earth, the designer paper that has the planets and everything. There are some dark patterns in there that would work really well for a background. And most of this background is going to be covered up with my Night of Navy anyway. But let me attach my designer paper. Isn't that pretty on the back? I would say it's probably like a boho blue or a misty moonlight. I didn't use this pattern at all, but that's really pretty too. I'm going to attach this right here to my card front. And then I have these little bags, and these little bags are 3 by 4 inches. You can get them on Amazon. And I thought that I would get these fancy bags, which are a clear plastic. I think they're like ultra clear or something. Well, for them to be that clear, they are also ultra stiff. So sometimes cheaper is better. In this case, it makes it a little bit difficult, but it's going to be doable. Okay, let me show you what I did. For this card, this isn't one, oh, this is one we're going to be making in card class. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I have my stamp set up on my Stamparatus. And I have some Post-it tape right here that I'm going to attach. What I'm going to do, and this was done on some designer paper. This is the Shining Brightly designer paper. And like I said, the ink doesn't go or stays off of or doesn't adhere to the gold star. So it's kind of cool. I'm going to put this at my 1 and 1. So 1 inch in, 1 inch down. And because the magnet isn't going to necessarily work, because this is a big stamp, I'm going to use my Post-it tape. I'm going to do it just like that, and I'm going to take my Night of Navy ink, which is in my box here, and I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm bringing the stamp to my bigger stamp. If you don't have a Stamparatus, this is still doable. You just do it on a bigger block. And then hopefully you have enough ink the first time that you don't need to re-ink it. So I'm doing it like that. And what I'm going to do is bring it down and press. And this should actually absorb a little bit better than the cardstock because it's a little bit thinner. So there is my patterned piece, just like that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at my fingers. They're covered with gold glitter. My husband, when we carried the actual glitter, used to think that I rolled in it because I was always covered in it. Now, maybe I have to add this to my eyes for a little bit of extra makeup. But anyway, that's kind of funny. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to attach this to my Very Vanilla base. My Very Vanilla base is the same size as a Memories and More small card. So you can definitely follow the same idea and just do it with a small card. So let me tell you what this designer paper is. It is 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And I put it on a 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. I'm just going to attach that real quick. And then we're going to put that in our little bag with some shaker sequins. So 2.5 by 3.5 onto 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I've got my bag right here. What I'm going to do is put this in the bag, just like that. And I'm going to add just a pinch of these sequins. And you'll notice that I actually, if I wanted to make it so that it was a tight fit, and you certainly could if you wanted to, you'd probably want to be, instead of 2.5 inches, you'd probably want to be 2 3/4 inches. You'd want to be just shy of 3 inches. So it's a tight fit in the bag if you don't want to fold it over. But we're going to fold it over and I'm going to show you how that works. I'm just going to take a generous pinch of these, just like that, and put it in the left corner, just like that. Isn't that beautiful? And then I am going to turn this over, just like that. Ooh, crispy. Those the sequins are crunchy if they're standing on end and not laying flat. I'm going to take my tear and tape, and I am going to attach this flap down. Now, if I wanted to, and I'm not going to this time, but if I wanted to, I could peel this and attach it to the paper. But I've decided this is stiff enough and bulky enough that I'm going to use some dimensionals. This is a self-sealing flap, so I'm going to peel this back, just like that. And I'm going to fold this over, making sure that it's nice and tight, just like that. So there we go. We're all set to attach this to our card. And what I'm going to do, like I said, is use some dimensionals because it is kind of bulky already with the, so I'm thinking it might sit better or sit evenly on some places versus others, since, like I said, it's already raised a bit. It doesn't sit nice and flat anyway because of the, I'm going to use plenty of dimensionals on this one, because I want to make sure it's going to stay put in all the areas. So there we go. And what we're going to do is attach this to our piece of Night of Navy. And the Night of Navy is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. So everything, if you remember, 2.5 by 3.5, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to attach that right there in the center, just like that. If you don't do it too tight, you can actually see your little pieces move, just like that. Remember, I've already attached my designer paper, and I'm going to attach this to the base, just like this. Ta-da. And then inside, I think this is the one where I said, Oh Holy Night. I stamped the Oh Holy Night. Let's see. Am I right? I think so. Here's my shaker card here. This one was a little bit tighter. Oh no, I did another small sentiment, but you could easily do the Oh Holy Night as well. So make sure this is stuck down nice and well, and this will probably be extra to mail, so you probably want to hand deliver this. But isn't that a fun card? And like I said, I did the more expensive bags because I thought they would be better, and it's going to turn out that it's going to be bulkier because they're stiffer. So there we go. That's card number 4. Let me show you card number 5, which is really fun. Card number 5 is my box card. And like I said, it stands up by itself. And I will tell you the measurements, and you can watch me make it. And if you are getting my Genie in a Box, hopefully you watch this, and you can remake it just as easily. So I've got a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch base of Misty Moonlight. And then I have this piece of cardstock, and this is 5 3/4 by 4 1/4 inches. So it's the same width the 4 1/4 inches, but it is longer because I have to incorporate the folds. So let me get my, my bone folder I took out of here and I don't have it. I don't like it when I don't have my bone folder because I like nice crisp folds. I've already scored though, and I've scored at the 3/8 inch mark and the 1 1/8 inch mark. And I think that's like a 3/4 inch box there. And I did the same on the other side, which I don't remember the exact measurements. Let me tell you. So 3/8, 1 1/8, 4 5/8, and 5 3/8. If you do that, you'll have your box. And what we're going to do now is attach our tear and tape to the narrow folds at the end. Just like this. This is a super simple card once you've already done all your cutting and scoring. This probably takes a minute. But this is special for my Genie in a Box subscribers this month. If you want to subscribe next month, sign up starts the 1st and it ends on the 12th of the month. And I do have one box left. So like I said, if you want the last box, you will have to send me either a private message or make a comment quickly about that. I sold one this morning and I have one box left. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make a little mark in the middle of my paper at the 1 inch. And the reason I'm doing that, and I'm going to do the same thing at this side at 4 1/2 inches because that's 1 inch in. That's where I want to line up my fold here. So the edge of the fold is going there. Just like that. I'm going to put it just like that, nice and straight and even. I like to use my spatula to pick up my, it's easier from this edge, I guess. If you use that, it picks up the tear and tape just like that, nice and easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got my mark, my 1 inch mark right there. Down to the bottom edge, nice and straight. And I'll do it like that. And then the next one is nice and easy because what I'm going to do is just peel this off. I don't even need to make the 1 inch mark on this side. I'm laying this back on itself, nice and flat. And then I'm going to flip this over like that and attach it. And that's already going to be at my 1 inch mark. So watch this over and over again if you don't get that, but it's really pretty easy. The next thing I'm going to do, and it's really simple, is I'm going to decorate my box. So what I'm doing with that is I've got my designer paper strips. Maybe I got rid of my designer paper strips. I'll tell you how I did it though. So I have a 3/4 inch strip of design. I have a 2 3/4 inches by 4 inch piece in the middle. And I've got to show you this. The one card that I'm not showing you, because this is only for Genie in a Box subscribers, is this has like the Bethlehem scene at the bottom with the grasses and the nice sky. I love this paper. Absolutely love it. You're going to cut this off at the bottom at 5 1/4 inches. And then you use the top for your backing for this card right here. So isn't that beautiful? So that's a nice backing for that, 4 by 5 1/4. That's this part. So I'm just showing you how to cut that. Now, what I need to do next, and I'm not showing you if I don't have the paper. Well, it's not this paper, but let me show you what I did. I took this paper and I have it at 4 inches. So most of my cards are 4 by 5 1/4 inches or thereabouts. They're 4 inches. This, what you would do if this was my 4 inch strip of designer paper, 4 by 12, you're going to, it's 4 inches wide, cut down to 2 3/4. You're going to cut that off, and that's here. I'm cutting that off, and that's going to be my center panel. Then I'm going to cut off 2 3/4 inch strips, and that's my side panels here and here. And then what I'm going to do is, I still did not like how you could see this one. And these are only 3/8 of an inch wide. I'm going to do it with 1/2 inch wide strips. And then because the strip of paper, it's not this paper, but the other paper, here's one of the paper. It's a little bit more muted. It matches the Misty Moonlight a little bit better. It's a whole sheet of just stars. You don't have to worry about the bottom. I've cut that. I can get 2 cards of these box cards out of each 4 by 12 inch strip. Because what I do, I've cut off 2 3/4 inches. I've cut off my 3/4 strips on each side and my 1/2 inch strips. And that still leaves me like 6 1/4 inches. So I just turn the paper around and do it again. And it's a nice, easy card. I may surprise my people at card class and make this, but so we'll see. But let me just cover this real quick. So I've got my piece right here, 2 3/4 inches by 4. I feel like I'm talking in circles, and I'm trying to beat the clock before my Christmas carols start singing. Yeah, this is the wrong paper. This it's the more muted paper that I would have used, but I've already cut this, so we're going to use this. This is my 3/4 inch strip. I'm going to put it on each side of my box. I could have done a little bit more. I probably, instead of 3/4, I probably could have even done 3/4 would be 6/8. I probably could have done 7/8, just a little bit closer. It would have covered more, and I still would have had enough left to do a second card out of the other side of the strip. Okay, so I'm attaching that to this side, just like that. Try to do them evenly, but if you're looking at how you attach it and you're attaching it evenly left, right, top, and bottom, they should be even on the other side as well. So now I'm going to put in my 1/2 inch strips, and let's see if that looks better than my 3/8 inch strips that I used for the card here. I can easily push this down just like that. Like I said, this folds flat for mailing. And then I'm going to do my other 1/2 inch strip on this side. And you could use other strips too. You could probably use more of the more glimmer paper or more dazzle paper, the textured gold paper, but I've got a lot of gold for my die cuts here. So isn't that cool? There you go. That's my card ready to go and to build. Now the building part is really fun and really easy. I've already done the die cutting. I just laid all of my dies minus either the hay, the tumbleweeds or the clouds or whatever it is. I don't know exactly what it is. I did not die cut them, but I die cut everything else out of my distressed gold paper. And I think the distressed gold paper is lovely. I don't know if you wouldn't see the detail of the die cuts if you did it with the glimmer paper. It would be pretty, but it would be just a silhouette. And you wouldn't get to see these die cuts. So I don't know if you can see the detail, just like that. Hopefully I'm not out of the picture. So what I'm going to do is, oh, and I forgot my die cut manger. And like I said, you can actually see the wood grain. And what I have to do, because I need this to fit in an envelope, I'm going to attach it. I'm going to add glue to all of this and attach it to my card front, my middle. But I'm not going to go all the way to the feet, and it's because I know that there are the feet overlaps a little bit. I have to cut some of that off. So what I'm going to do is put this in my layered, so attaching it to the top and layering to the bottom. And then I'm going to use my paper snips, and I'm just going to snip off the feet. And the reason I'm snipping it off, like I said, is because I want it to fit in my envelope. I could make a special envelope, but this is going to work because we're going to be covering up the bottom anyway. What I wanted to do next was attach my gold scene. You've got the shepherd, you've got Mary and Joseph with the baby, you've got the manger, you've got a sheep, and you've got a wise man in there. So, but a little bit of glue. It's really easy to add the glue to this. I'm going to do it just right here. I could pop it up too, but it's already pretty detailed with your box card. So then I've got my camel. And the camel, what I'm going to do is layer, I want my leg to attach to the leg, the frame of the manger. And it's, like I said, okay if it overlaps, because we'll just fold the card this way like I have it folded. If you fold it the other way, it's going to be too much. So I'm going to attach it just to the body and my legs here, the adhesive, just like that. This is so easy to make this card. I'm going to do it like that. I could pop it up if I wanted to, but it's okay, like I said, that the head overlaps, because it can still, if I do it this way, if I fold my card this way, it's too much. But then you just make sure you fold it the other way when you put it in the envelope. It's going to fit beautifully. I'm going to put my star right here at the top, and I would do it higher, but I need it to fit in the envelope. So I'm actually going to bring that down a little bit, just like that. Just like that. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to do that. Then I have my horse or my donkey, and I'm going to put that on that side. And it's okay if if the head overlaps. It's not going to go beyond my left edge of my card, and I see that when I'm folding. So we'll go like that. I don't want to cover up too much, but I do want to make sure the head is going to stay within the confines of the card, just like that. And I could bring it up a little bit too if I wanted to. So that's that. And then, because we can't let our sides be naked, I added the sheep, and I'm putting that on that side because the shepherd is over here. Even though in another card, I thought it was maybe a laying down sheep. And just attach that like that. I'm not going to want to do this with dimensionals, because then my card won't lay flat. And we'll put our cow, the cattle are lowing, and just like that in, and that's going to fit. Everything is sticking to me now. It's going to fit just beautifully right there. And voila, this is our card. Isn't that so pretty? I could attach a trinket right to the center too. So because I can, I will. These star trinkets were sold out for a little while. I have enough, and I think for anybody that places a $50 order, you will get a package of these star trinkets with this class. So there you go. And voila, there's my card. Now, because I need to say something on the other side, on the back, I can attach, and I don't have one here, but I could attach a very vanilla layer that's 4 by 5 1/4, stamp it, do my signing here, and they can still see the front of the card really easily. So I hope you love these cards. Place your order using my host code. There's my November host code, stampingwithjeannie.stampinup.net. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady. And like I tell my patients so they remember my name, I dream of Jeannie. So I hope you dream of me often and place orders with me. I would love to share this card class with you because I was so inspired when I did it. So inspired. You get the shaker card. You'll get this gold card. And you'll get, actually not this one. This is going to be just for my Jeannie in a Box subscribers. And like I said, I've got one left and you'll have to hurry. You would get this card, you will get this card, and you will get one of this card extra. So all kinds of goodies in there, as well as special thank you gift from me and the product. So let me flip down. I'm going to switch around like that, flip down and say thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Martha. I hope you can make it on Thursday. I can't wait to share this class with you. It is such beautiful paper and such beautiful dies. Thanks to everybody. I don't know who else I might have missed for joining me, but let me just tell you, I will go back and say, respond to your comments. I love you guys. Thank you for watching me. Talk to you soon and goodbye.